Welcome back to Cheddar, everyone. You're watching Closing Bell. This financial fitness segment is sponsored by Lending Tree. Shop and compare loans, credit cards, insurance, and more. The American Journal of Medicine shows that more than half of all U.S. bankruptcies are medical debt related, and 80% of those who filed for bankruptcy actually had health insurance. Joining us now to discuss this is Seth Denson, who is the co-founder and chief strategist at GDP Advisors. Seth, always a good pleasure to speak with you. Some Americans, they may find themselves in a substantial amount of debt, especially now with mass coronavirus hospitalizations. What options do people have?
Yeah, thanks for having me back. I think there's a number of things that people have available to them if they just do them. And the first that I always say is negotiate, right? In the healthcare system, really the healthcare providers are trying first and foremost to collect from the insurance company. But if they can't, then they have two options: collect it from you or go sell the debt to a debt collector. And they would likely rather collect it from you. So first and foremost, negotiate. The second thing is see if there's an available option out there, a relief program. There are a number of relief programs that are out there, many of them nonprofit, related to specific medical conditions. So check there. Obviously, bankruptcy is an option. This is an option you want to take last. You want to work through the debt if you can, but bankruptcy courts are available to help people with medical debt. And then finally, and again, I tell people this and clients this all the time, the last resort, use a credit card. You always want to make sure where those interest rates are, but that is an option.
And so what sort of relief programs are available for this type of debt?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of nonprofits out there, and that's the other thing. You want to make sure that you're using a reputable company. The internet is a great source of information as to the quality of these organizations, but specific to cancer, specific to heart disease, specific to a number of medical conditions, there are nonprofits out there that have been set up to help people that are dealing with financial debt as a result of their condition.
Healthcare providers usually don't tell you how much treatment will cost before treating you. And so is there any way to minimize costs while receiving treatment?
There certainly is. And the first thing I would tell everyone is be a good consumer. The American citizen on average spends 10 hours researching a car before making a purchase, 2 hours researching a flat screen TV, but only 15 minutes researching healthcare. So do your research ahead of time. There are a lot of resources out there online that will give you an idea of what certain conditions and treatments might cost. The other thing is always make sure before you get anything done, so long as you have the ability to do so in advance, get a predetermination of benefit from your provider. Give them the ability to pre-file it with your insurance company and outline what your costs will be.
Over a quarter of all medical invoices have a billing error. So what should you do if you think that you're carrying something that should have been in the insurance company's responsibility?
Yeah, first and foremost, ask for a detailed bill. Don't just go off of the invoice that's provided. A lot of times those are summaries, and don't try to compare that to your insurance EOB as a summary, because those two will be in conflict. So ask for a detailed bill. Work with your insurance company. Most insurance companies now have advocates in-house that are set up to try to make sure they navigate this. If that doesn't work, depending on the amount of debt, you may want to consider hiring a professional advocate, or even an attorney to fight the battle for you.
And what should patients know about dealing with debt collectors if they don't pay their bills?
Yeah, listen, this is a sad state of how our healthcare system operates. As I mentioned at the beginning, the healthcare providers either want to collect what they can or sell the debt off and generate some revenue there. So there are laws that protect the American citizen against harassment. That being said, you have to engage, but try to engage with the actual healthcare provider themselves and get resolution.
And just quickly as well, Seth, how is your credit score impacted if you don't pay your medical debt?
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion around this because your credit score actually can be impacted by medical debt. Now, under FICO 9, it's not quite as severe as maybe not paying a credit card, but it still can be impactful, which is why it's important to work with these companies and get a payment plan, get a structure in place. The more that you do in advance, the better it's going to be for you in the long run.
Seth Denson, who's the co-founder and chief strategist at GDP Advisors. Always a pleasure to speak with you, Seth.